The White House's Greenland summit scheduled for today, that is 14 January, represents a pivotal moment that will determine whether the United States backs down from military threats against Greenland or escalates towards an unprecedented breach of NATO alliance and international law. US Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are hosting Denmark and Greenland's foreign ministers for high-stakes talk that will either resolve one of the most explosive geopolitical crises in decades or escalate towards something far darker. Not to forget, the backdrop to these talks is deeply troubling. President Trump has categorically stated he will acquire Greenland one way or other, and the US would pursue this goal whether they like it or not. Well, most ominously, Trump warned that if the easy way doesn't work, we are going to do it the hard way. Language that White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed, including military options, are on the table. Well, days after the US successfully conducted a military operation in Venezuela on January 3rd, removing the nation's president through force, these threats carry a weight they previously lacked. With all this, Greenland officials fear Trump is now emboldened to act. Well, in this edition of From the News Desk, we will tell you why this summit on Greenland is of utmost importance and how it might decide whether there will be another invasion by the United States or not. Greenland and Denmark have responded with a unified wall of resistance that demonstrate both the desperation and the determination against mounting American pressure. On 13th January, Greenland's Prime Minister Jens Frederik stood alongside Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen and delivered an unambiguous message. We face a geopolitical crisis, and if we have to choose between the United States and Denmark, then we choose Denmark. Well, Frederiksen went further, warning that any US military action against Greenland would mean the end of NATO itself. Her words reflected the existential stakes. This is no longer about just a resource-rich Arctic island. It is about whether the NATO alliance can survive an American president openly threatening to seize a member state's territory through military force. Well, the diplomatic challenge ahead is enormous too. Trump has justified his obsession with Greenland through national security arguments, claiming Russian and Chinese naval presence threatens the Arctic and only American ownership can provide adequate defense. Yet this argument collapses under scrutiny. Greenland is already a NATO member territory, and the US already maintains a military base there under existing agreements that already grant Washington significant operational freedom. Now, as per reports, Denmark and Greenland have already proposed enhanced security arrangements and expanded US access to Greenland's mineral resource as part of a negotiated settlement. Now, coming back to the summit, a favorable outcome would see the White House accept these enhanced agreements, affirming Greenland's security within the Kingdom of Denmark while expanding US security and economic cooperation. But wait, experts have already warned this meeting could collapse if Trump remains fixed on the ownership of Greenland. Now, fundamental and perhaps the most important question hangs over this meeting is, can diplomatic compromise satisfy Trump's demand, or is he committed to pursue Greenland regardless of the cost to NATO? Well, the answer will determine whether the summit marks the beginning of de-escalation or the point of no return towards American military intervention against a NATO ally, an act that would shatter 77 years of alliance architecture and set a precedent that will threaten the world order.